Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan. Happy Friday. It is Woodland Wonderland Day, and we are going to make trees and one of the blocks into the next chapter. This is the one that we'll do. That way we have lots to keep us busy this week. Now remember, this is all from a book, so you are able to work ahead if you want to work ahead, because you have the whole book. So you don't need to be waiting. You can sort of flip-flop around. I am working in through the chapters and not doing all the blocks each week from a chapter, but just doing enough that's doable. There's the chapters are, some of them have quite a few blocks, like this next chapter does. So we're just going to do one from the next chapter, but we're going to finish the trees first. But before we talk about making the trees, because there's some tips, I got one. Oh, I got one done here. I got one done, the machine quilting on the wreaths. There we go. I did the wave stitch right across like that. Turned out super cute. So I can get the binding done. And then this one, I have it partially done, about 3/4. And I used the cute little bubble fabric. Did I show you this one? Was it upside down? Here, it's right side up again if it was. And then I did, this is another one of Bev's fabrics from the same line. So I used that. And this one's from my dad and his wife. Okay, let's look at the trees. The construction here is something that is not difficult, but Joanna's instructions are the way she does it, and you've probably done this different ways. That's the fun part about using new patterns, is you see different ways to accomplish the exact same end result in your patchwork. So I'm going to show you what she did. The other thing here is that Joanna used a double-sided fabric, which means that she only needed to cut one rectangle to get these two pieces, because she could actually flip the fabric and use the back side. Now if you're using a fabric that is not double-sided, then you have to cut two rectangles and slice them in opposite directions, which I'm going to show you. So I've got a bunch of parts down here, tree parts on the table. All right, so I've got the snow at the top of the tree, so it'll be like this, the snow at the top of the tree. So there we go, this is what you start with. And you'll need two rectangles to be able to do these sides. And that is what's going to be going on like this. And here's ours, so that is what it'll be. And my fabric is not double-sided, so I have to make two of these. And when you follow the directions, she shows you how to trim them. So you just need to do the opposite. You need to do, for each tree, you need to do it one way and then the other way. So you'll have a slice like this, okay? And then you go the other way and you have a slice like that. And this way you will have parts that these two work on a tree and those two work on the tree. See? Simple. And you've probably done this on something in the past. They'll be like that. And my base with a little tree trunk. Okay, the next part is getting this marked so that you will be accurate with placing these items. I use the wash away pen to do the marking, and a longer ruler, because my 6.5 inch ruler, no, this one does work. It was, oh, that was up there. I needed to cut with the longer ruler. Either way, so we're going to the halfway mark, and she told you a measurement, or you can just take it and fold it, because you basically need to know the center point. And then take and draw a line from the center point to the corner on both sides. These come in all different colors so that you can use the one that works best with your fabrics. Now the red you're not going to be able to see that well, but I know you can see it on the white. So I can see the red. It's not easy, but I can see it when I'm up close and personal to it. So there we go, that's marked. Now she tells you exactly how to do this, but I'm going to show you so that maybe I'm upside down. Hold on. I can't do it upside down. There we go. All right. So this to figure it out, I would lay your pieces. This is how they're going to be. The right side up. The dot is right side up. on top of where they're going to be. Move that off. You've got your line. You're going to take this and now go right sides together, and you want to line up the edge on the line. So the edge of this patchwork piece, this piece that you're sewing is on the line, and you'll be sewing past the line for your seam allowance. Now what I do is I first take 2 pins. I'm using my kitty cat pins, and I will do out here towards the edge about the 1/4 inch in, because what I want to do is audition that I've got it correct. So see, here's the line. So I'm going to be sewing out here. I'm going to be sewing down there. So I can flip it now and see, there, it's perfect. So it's a little bit mind bending sometimes, and when you do pieces like this, because they're not traditionally, patchwork sewing, but it all works out fine. So I will be sewing a 1/4 inch along there and then putting the other one on. So I'm going to go do that. The patchwork is now sewn on. This side triangle is now sewn on, and I flipped it over. So here is the seam allowance, and you can see that it is a 1/4 inch in from the edge. So even though I lined this up on the line, I'm not sewing on that line, the line that was drawn. I'm sewing a regular 1/4 inch seam. And then on the other patchwork, now remember when you're using these too, that they will iron away. So I had to redraw this line. I forgot I had to redraw that line. If you use a pencil to draw, then it won't iron away. So now I want to line this one up here, and I will once again pin about the 1/4 inch so that I can audition what I'm going to do. And I'm pinning at the ends because I want these are big head pins, these cats. If I pin in here, the cat head is part of the seam allowance and it's in the way. So I'll pin out here and then pull it forward. Oh, I think I slipped a little bit there. Need to move that one over just a tad because it wasn't quite covering. There we go. So now I can see that it is covering. Then you trim this afterwards. So I'm going to sew this on. At this point I have both sides on, and you can see that I did this one by lining it up a little higher up, which it does not matter because we're going to end up trimming this. Joanna recommends that you just flip it over and use the actual patchwork, the red and the snow or whatever your colors are, as the way to trim. So that would be, then you trim away behind. So first I would just line up along here and trim any excess. So that would be all these little parts. And then on this side, I'll be trimming away these sections like this. See? And then over here. After that, you have the background. So now it's trimmed to size again. Flip it over. I will be adding the tree base under there like that. And I want to trim away these extra parts, and they'll go in for my scrap stuff. So you can use a ruler or you could just trim like that. And then this guy will be ready for the bottom base. There are 5 trees. There's mine with the reds. I'm going to show you all the red blocks, but I want to tell you that when I got ready to cut for the little stem, I thought to myself, oh, I don't want to get the bin out and get just for this 1.5 inch squares. It's like, so what I remembered was, ta-da, my 2.5 inch squares that I have all cut up, and I just went into the bin here and got a gray trunk for the tree. I was so proud of myself. I was like, yes, now I've used those for something. Okay, you're going to make all 5 for the quilt. If you're making the full quilt, you're going to make all 5 of these right now so that you don't have to come back and make trees later. I mean, once you're on a roll with this, you want to stay on a roll. Remember, if you are using a background that is not reversible, you will want 2 of each, and make opposite cuts. Now the trees and the stars, which we've already done, are right along here. So you could sew up that section now, which is I think what I will end up doing, so that I can have some sections start to get built as I go along. There are other parts too, like I told you before. You could go forward and find the stem for the owl if you wanted to. You could maybe start, if you've got leaves going on, you can maybe start setting your leaves. You could sort of work ahead some on the layout so that at the end you're not you know, sort of rushing to do the whole layout, because the layout doesn't change for you on this. It's not like one that you'll switch blocks around too much. So it's pretty good for doing it in advance. Let me show you all of my red and white and gray blocks so far. Where's my tree? Okay, so here we go. And I think I might end up making 4 trees, because I had cut a few things for getting ready to do the sample, so I might end up having 4 trees. And you know, over time I might come back and make a few. I want to make some more mushrooms and see how far I get with this. I don't think I'm going to remake the entire quilt in this. It's just making some of them, and then I'll do a smaller layout, which will be super fun. Maybe you can tuck into a spot in my bedroom on the wall somewhere. Okay, so what are you doing this week? What are we doing this week? In the next chapter, which is chapter 4, there are 3 different blocks, but we're not going to do all of them, because if you're following along with me, you're doing trees. But these blocks are really pretty, and I would recommend, this is what I will recommend for you, is the first one is called, hold on. Okay, this is called the winter wreath. So there's a winter wreath, there's one of those. There are 3 pine cone blocks. So 1, 2, 3. And then there's the winter crystal, which is just gorgeous. So if you're doing the tree, if you're at the point like I am, and you're doing the tree, I would suggest then you also do the winter wreath. If you're going to do one more block, just from the whole grouping, do the wreath. And then next week will be these. So we'll do all of these next week. Now let's come up here. I am going to pre-tape next Friday's video, and you'll see on the calendar it said Woodland Wonderland on Saturday. I'm going to have it on Friday like normal. I wasn't sure with this, you know, surgery stuff what I would be doing, because I had written the calendar about the time I was finding out about that. So I will do the the Friday video with Woodland Wonderland, which is also my birthday, and that'll be pre-recorded. I'm actually going to record it today after I finish this one. So that'll be how that rolls. All right, my friend, you're going to make trees, and you're going to make a wreath, which this is just gorgeous. Wouldn't this make a beautiful pillow? I think it would just be spectacular. All right, I love you. Mwah. See you online.